Alone Again by The Weeknd. This is one of my favorite mixes ever. It's the intro track off of his album from 2020, After Hours, which is a incredible release. Seamless transitions between tracks. It's like this horror, electro, pop, R&B, innovative album. Incredible. This track in particular is produced by DaHeala, The Weeknd, Frank Dukes, who's now known as Ging, and Illangelo, who also mixed it. I believe it was also mastered by Kutch, who's incredible. First of all, the dynamics of the track are incredibly interesting. It's like this 3-leg track, right? You've got this cinematic intro, you've got this washed out transition piece, and then this big explosive trap 80s hard-hitting third leg where the vocals come up and everything is just on 11. Yeah, so with the dynamics, it's really interesting because the song starts kind of quiet by modern streaming standards. It's an interesting choice and a bit of a brave one because as a pop album, you want to be capturing people's very limited attention very quickly. And being quiet puts that a little bit at risk. But I think it's a great decision because what it does is it leaves so much room for the last legs of the track to just punch you in the face with level. You know, it really leaves room to go up a few dB. The stereo image and the sound field in this song is also incredible. It's immersive. It's definitely a listen for headphones or really good speakers. You've constantly got all of these instrumental elements and vocal effects moving from ear to ear and from front to back. And having actually watched a video of Illangelo going through the mix and production for this track, it's no surprise that it feels the way it feels because he's got, I want to say like 80 effects, 80 plugins on just the lead vocal alone, and nearly everything serves a purpose and nearly everything's being automated. It's incredible. It's like painting. Yeah, and there's this constant sense of building and motion, which really helps to introduce the listener and create a sense that we're leading up to something for the climax that ultimately is the last leg of the track. Like I said, the vocal processing is super layered, very unconventional for a pop vocal. You've got all kinds of crazy chorusing. You've got delays going into reverbs, going into spatializers, going into lo-fi plugins. It's really just like artistry in the mix of this song. In the vocal, there's what sounds like an artificial vibrato, like what you'd hear in Lil Yachty's Poland. Really cool. I think they might have done that with Melodyne or Auto-Tune, or maybe that's just The Weeknd himself and the tune is catching it. Kind of funny. But yeah, it sounds like an artificial vibrato and it's once you hear it, you can't really unhear it. In the background vocals, there's all this weird pitching and format shifting to make it sound like there's all of these different voices going on. They're moving from ear to ear, never getting in the way of the lead vocal. There's also a different vocal chain in the second half or the last leg of the track where the vocals come up quite a lot and there's some really heavy chorusing or doubling going on. Yeah, it makes for a really three-dimensional listen. Coming into that last leg, what also adds to just getting smacked in the face is the side chaining on the kick. You've got these huge bass layers and these huge drums that cut through the mix beautifully. And even though they're fighting with all of these chaotic reverbs and huge decay tails, this heavy side chaining on the kick really helps everything punch and cut through. It's like you've got this enormous atmosphere, this drone-like space that's being created by all of this vocal reverb and instrumental decaying elements. And this kick is just ducking it down every time, just creating this huge room for the drums to cut through. It's beautiful. Finally, I want to talk about the mastering. Obviously, you've got a mastering engineer who's brought the track home, but having seen Illangelo's master bus in the mix specifically, he's used these virtual channel emulations that Slate do. Essentially, he's done the whole mix in his laptop, and to make it sound like it's been run through a proper board, he's used a couple instances of Slate's virtual channels. He's also used an AI plugin called Golfos, which is really interesting. So basically, it emulates the ideal frequency spectrum for a song and listens to what's currently being fed through it, and it just evens out any frequencies at many different instances. Yeah, really interesting stuff. The low end is crystal clear. I know that Illangelo's rolled off just about everything except just sine wave subs when it comes to low end, so crystal clear. And the punch and balance in the master is perfect. Usually in pop music, because everything gets so squashed, the kick is the first thing to suffer. But like I said, they've allowed for so much dynamics. So the kick is just smacking you in the face in the last leg of the song. So yeah, beautiful cinematic intro to an also beautiful cinematic album. Highly recommend checking out the whole thing in full in the dark with some headphones on. This has been Audiology. I've been Riverine. See you soon.